of its strategy, has therefore partnered with Ghana's #1 youth urban music station, YFM, to celebrate the Ghanaian youth throughout the month of August. And so today is a special one for us. At UMB, the positioning includes an early bird strategy where the bank aims to convert young people to the bank. Example from the Smart Fees product to mainline propositions via the Speed Up, the Aspire account, and other DigiBank propositions. Part of the persona for UMB is a bank that is young at heart. Of course, it syncs with our theme as well, always leading the way in being modern. That's in line with this that YFM, Ghana's #1 urban music station, and UMB are bringing to you the youth, financial literacy webinar dubbed Intergenerational Solidarity, Message to My Younger Self on Finance. So it's basically going to be a webinar about things that are supposed to be done the right way. Things we need to directly do to change our finances as young people. We can have fun all the time, have fun through our youthful days and not plan things right with regards to our finances, and then we'll find ourselves wanting later. But UMB says no. We need to advise ourselves and, of course, give advices to our younger selves. But what we know now, of course, through my panelists this morning, and then through that advice, all young people locked into the show today to take up their finances and do things the right way. So let me introduce my panelists this morning. I have me, Jeffrey Odami Yeboah. For my family members watching on our YouTube and our socials, he's the man in the, I think this is green, right? I'm colorblind sometimes, My color eyes are gone. I can see some yellow, blue, and red in there. Yeah. That's correct, right? Great. So Jeffrey Odami Yeboah is head of personal banking at UMB. Kennedy Omenako is team lead at UMB Transaction Banking, and Faustina Yaapia is corporate affairs at UMB. Welcome to YFM, guys.
Thank you.
Are we ready to talk?
Yes, very ready.
I just want us to go further to introduce ourselves. I mean, I've mentioned your positions, but let us break down what we do in our day-to-day activities. I mean, when we come to corporate affairs, what does your duties entail? What are you around at work?
Okay, so my job really entails the aesthetics of UMB. So from the brand, how you perceive us, the human relations aspect, being able to interact with the media, and also relating well with our stakeholders, because we work with different stakeholders, from customers to the regulator to every other person who comes together to make UMB a safe place, or one of the most reputable banks that has been doing this for 50 years.
Wow.
So that's basically what I do.
Okay. Jeffrey, talk to us.
Yes, my job is pretty simple. Basically, I look at all the individuals in the bank, all the accounts that individuals open. And for example, the accounts for youth, and we want the youth to be able to have accounts that they can use to save. So I take care of all that. We have accounts for adults, for all ages. I make sure that tailor-made products to make sure that everybody is happy to come to the bank, and to make sure that when people are opening the account, the experience is seamless.
Okay.
They're happy to stay with us.
All right.
That's what I do.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And then I move to Kennedy Omenako. He is team lead for UMB Transaction Banking.
Yes, thank you. So my job is pretty easy. What I handle at UMB entails giving support to our business units with regards to transaction banking platforms. So I handle and manage the collection platforms that we have. I also manage the remittance business together with bank assurance and others. And so basically I provide that support that is needed amongst our business units, from corporate, SME to consumer banking.
All right, perfect. So we're good to go. If you've joined us on our Facebook, if you have a question for all that we're about to discuss, the hashtag is UMBIYD 2022. If you missed this, your question is going to go to somebody else, but we need it right here in the studio so you can be a part of the conversation. So kindly send the right one, and then make sure you communicate with us throughout. Anything you'd like to share along the line, let's get straight into it. So straight to business, I want to start off by, of course, the entire conversation circles around financial literacy. I want to find out from you, Faustina, why is it even necessary for young people to take finances serious? I'm young. I'm told you get serious around when you're becoming an adult. And when I say adults, when things are falling apart, that's when you get serious. Why is it even necessary for me? My mom, my dad has money. I'm good. I'm giving my monthly, I don't know if it's called salary, but then
Allowance.
yes, exactly, your allowance, small, it's fine. I'm able to go out and chill with my friends. Why do I even need to worry about my finances? I'm not there yet.
Okay, so it's the best time and the best opportunity for you to plan for your future. Even if you feel your parents have $1 million or $1 billion, there's a local saying that that even the sea gets fed with rain. So there is no better time to plan for your future now. And how do you become a better adult when you don't understand finance? Some of the things that I believe, in my opinion, have bedeviled the African continent is because we probably did not take our finances seriously. And that has informed some of the borrowing that we do when we're actually one of the richest continents, if not the richest continent in the world. So it's very important. And your youth actually means that you can do more. You have the energy, you have the time, you can save, you can do different ventures. So as you're here, you have your regular job, but you could take up another side hustle. And that could even go into planning for your early retirement. Why wait till 40, 50, 60 when your bones are aching? You don't even have the time to get up and do what you're supposed to be doing. And then the children come, the bills come like clockwork. And now you're complaining and you're bashing the president for not doing his part. But you could have actually helped by, exactly. You could have done that by taking certain pragmatic decisions regards to your finances. So it's very important to do it now. We have to start even looking at children. The Susu box is very important now, inculcating in them the habit of saving, the habit of planning for their future so that you can be financially independent. I mean, sometimes you can be on the job and you wish you had money to just say, I'm done, let me go. So if you, I know, so just do it now so that you don't get stuck in a job where you're not contributing to the organization's goals and vision. Rather, you can be on your own and do something. So, yeah.
All right. So Faustina basically says, take your finances serious now, because your mortal body might fail you. Unforeseen circumstances might come up. Wherever your financial source is now that you're young, that's making you feel like you don't have to take the right decisions now can fail you. People pass. Houses get burnt. Companies just run away with money at some point, and so anything else can happen. But what do we have to do as young people? I think she touched on a few of it, but I want you, Jeffrey, to break down the things we have to do in order to necessitate financial strength, or things we need to do in order to put ourselves in a serious mood to focus on our finances as young people.
Okay, it's basically a lot of the practical things that we do not think about. For example, reading, personal finance. You can just go to Google and type personal finance. Do you understand what is happening when they say inflation is going up?
Yes, do you understand all that?
Do you understand all that? Do you understand when we say the exchange rate for the dollar against the CD? What is the implication? Do you understand it? Do you understand how all these things affect your pockets? Do you understand why petrol prices are going up? You do not need to go to a special school to get this. You can just go to Google and then find out what's happening. Now, when you know what is happening, it will also guide how you spend and how you live your life. Young ones today have energy. They have time, something you and I don't have, but they have it. So this is the time to really read around and try to understand the economic things that is happening. Because like it or not, I know a lot of people don't like economics, but the truth is, if you do not understand the financial environment we are in, if you do not understand what is happening, you take decisions that will affect you later in life. So youth have a lot of resources now.
Okay.
I mean, there are free online courses that you could actually...
The things some of us never really had growing up,
Yes, we never had that. I mean, during our time, we didn't even have WhatsApp. We didn't have Coursera. You couldn't go online and just get a free course. But all this is available. I mean, people have dedicated time to just create these things for us to learn. So the resources are there. And then you'd also have to try and take the initiative to enter a bank and find out what they actually do. You can walk into UMB Bank So what is a savings account? We have people sitting there who can tell you, oh, this savings account, you do it this way, you do it that way, you can open it this way. They should seek advice. It's easy. You just have to walk into any bank and they'll give it to you.
Jeffrey, not to cut you, but are young people doing that these days? I'm very curious. You've drawn my mind to something very important. I feel you'd walk to the bank if someone hands over a check to you to go and cash, or you need to save money, or you need to withdraw money. But do young people walk in to ask the products you have? How do maybe I have money, what do I do with it? Do you get young people come through these days?
We don't see too much of them.
We don't see too much
of them. Most of them go to the bar first. Go and chill out and spend everything, kill it. And then they later realize that they don't have any money left with them. Okay? And most of the youth are spending their time on phones. Okay? Now the phone is a good thing.
It's supposed to be a good thing, yes.
But if you're not learning anything, you're spending all your time on phone, you're not really learning anything, then that's a problem.
Okay, thank you for that. I know Fosti wants to add something to that. We'll come back to
I was going to say that, yes. I think it's also because they feel the money will come. I'm young, YOLO, you only live once. So there's more time for me to make that decision later in life. But when the coins flip or
when the tables turn.
Exactly, then that's when, or when you've actually spent that money and you realize that next income is not coming or the next money to blow is not coming, that's when you're now thinking of savings. So it should be,
it shouldn't get to that point.
It shouldn't. So parents, nurturers, everybody must make a conscious effort of teaching us to be able to love the culture of saving, even when you feel you don't need to. Just do it, because you never know when that money will come in handy.
Exactly.
So,
and I love the fact that Fosti is really stressing on parents, because there's a lot parents can do to help their wards. I mean, I think let me just fix this one in. At what age do you think is right for children to be introduced to financial literacy?
I think from birth.
From birth, okay.
See, why I say this was this. For instance, if you give your 1-year-old 1 cedi, you can have a PD box at home. I'll give you 1 cedi. Put 50 pesos in there and use 50 pesos for your top. Once you start at that age, they know that when they get money, they must split it, keep that sum down for savings. We never had that. Some of us kept enjoying our money till we later realized that we needed.
Some of us even kept the money with our parents. You get the money and you have to go back to them. They take it.
Yeah, they take it from you.
I think a lot must be done. I mean, if we're going to change things in the next generation or even now, we need to start today. Let me come to Ken. I think I've kept Ken on the hold for long. Yes, exactly. Ken, so with yours, I want to find out what are some, we want to go as realistic as possible. What financial tips do you know now that you wish you knew earlier? I mean, growing up, for the sake of the young ones listening, we're giving an advice to our younger selves today. So let's be very realistic about this. What financial tips do you personally think you should have known while growing up?
Sure. I think I'll take it from where he ended.
Okay.
I believe it's a cultural thing, and we didn't get this because of the culture that we find ourselves in. But I think now, because of the exposure, because of the education and the technology, which exposes us to a lot of things, telling my younger self, I would do these few tips that I think will help the youth. One of it is practicing self-control. Because of the monies our parents are supporting us with, we take decisions later because we know more will come. But I believe that if you practice self-control, there are situations where you need to buy this dress or this phone, and some may buy it on credit. It is so much expensive. So it's basically coming back to tell yourself, cut your coat according to your size. Self-control helps a lot. Here that we find ourselves, there are so many nice things that you see, but you can't really afford it. The question is, what decision would you want to take? Would you want to take it on credit, knowing that in a few months it would not be of need for you? So self-control is one tip that I'll give to our youth out there. The next tip that I'll give is to beware of bad advice. There was a mention of the fact that investments go bad and all of that. Even in such situations where people were informed, they still got the wrong side of it. But I believe that if we are aware of what is out there in the market, we can safeguard ourselves from taking certain wrong decisions that will lock up our funds. We have in this country where situations happen where people have gone on demonstrations because their funds were locked up because they didn't educate themselves.
Okay.
And I believe that these two tips, just to add a final one, we should learn to budget. We should learn to budget. Many a times,
So let me just add to that. Budgeting is not only for the government.
No, not at all.
It's an interpersonal thing.
Yes.
Person to person, you and your family, you and your wife, you and your girlfriend, you and your business,
Yes.
you and your day-to-day activities, budgets.
So budget. It's very important. It's very important because it gives you a lean back strategy,
That's
or
true.
a second option, or a third option. But if you don't plan and that situation happens, that is where we expose ourselves to several things where the youth is pressured into going into crime and other things. that are
Borrowing,
untoward.
unnecessary borrowing, people
Exactly.
getting into risky businesses on the side because the small money they have left
Exactly.
now has to fund all the big ideas they have, so
And-
they
and-
want to double it.
And they must keep up
Yes.
with the peers.
Yes.
The peer pressure.
Yeah.
They must keep up.
And most of these guys will come to the club with you, but they are really saving and doing all the things that you're not
Yes.
practicing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so if you find yourself being pressured by things they do, when you're not doing what they do, you find yourself wanting. I think Fosu wanted to add
Yeah,
something.
I wanted to also say that one of the things that I wish I knew about finance when I was a bit younger, I'm still young though, is monetizing your talent. I think that often we do things for free. So, oh, let me do this gig for free. But if you put a certain price tag to it and you get people to pay a certain premium for it, that could be the side hustle or even the hustle that becomes the main, steady free stream of income
for you.
So rather than doing it for free, because what you realize is if you start doing it for free, the moment you put a price tag to it, the people who take it for free do not want to pay for
That's
it.
true.
So why not put just a quantum of money on it and say, okay, everybody is charging 500, I will charge you 200, and build a reputation. And with time, people will start paying premium for it. But if you do it for free and by the time you're ready to actually charge, you probably would have lost your market.
That's
Those
very
are
true.
some of the things. And then saving. We always think you need a lot of money to be able to save. Save now. One CD, you throw it somewhere. That one CD you give as, I'm not saying don't tip, but sometimes you over tip, sometimes to show
I
off.
have an experience to share. But I'll keep that for later.
You over tip and you're doing it for the gram, or it's really not necessary. Like I said, we don't have the gifts of life the way we think we do. We're mortal. I may be sitting here with you today, tomorrow,
No,
then
we need you.
Yes, I will be here, I promise. So yes, just save. Even if you think that you're a trust fund baby and
Yeah.
you don't need it, just save. You never know. Oh, you can save and give it to charity if you're that charitable. But monetize your talent. I think that that's one of the things that if I get the time to rewind the clock, I probably will do.
I like that. Anyways, now we've talked about financial literacy, introducing ourselves to that, the various things we would have wanted to do in the past, things that we know now we wish we had known earlier. One of the things that's very important, I mean, I'm a young guy, I'm always with them. Question is, what do I even do with my money? Now that I save, you mentioned that if you think you might not need it, you might want to do charity with it. That's if you are that into, yes,
benevolent
exactly.
person.
But let's say I want my money to work for me, because I also read, and part of financial, strength or stability is making your money work for you. You guys are in the field. What kind of business opportunities are available for young people now? Let's say there's somebody listening who's quite touched about this whole sermon about savings and financial literacy and wants to do something with what they've saved or what they're about to save. What business opportunities are open for us?
Okay. I'll start.
Okay.
Now, I believe that everybody has a talent. You need to follow your passion. Now, whatever you wish to do, if you really want to do it, you can do
You
it.
can.
Irrespective of what anybody says. Okay? If you want to do it, you do it. So follow your passion. That would be my first advice. Because when you follow your passion and you enjoy what you are doing, you start making money out of it, and then you keep making money because that is you. It becomes part of you. So I'll say, youth, follow your passion.
Okay.
Now, it's typical for some of us to kind of kill the ideas other people bring up. Do not let anybody kill your idea. No. When you do that, you lose focus. Always focus on what you want to do.
Okay.
And just go ahead and do it.
All right.
Another thing I would advise is work with your hands. Here's what I mean. in the past, it sort of was a menial job for somebody to learn a trade. But sit down today and ask yourself, there's somebody actually hiring wheelbarrows for those selling coconuts. The person is making money. There's a young lady who has put this broke man, the roasted plantain, on all the roads in East Legon and hiring it out to people. She's making money, sitting in her house making money. Somebody has learned how to braid their hair.
Yes, the hair breeders.
The hair braiders. The ladies are always braiding their hair.
You pay so much for it.
You think of makeup.
Yeah, makeup.
Back then.
It wasn't a thing, you know. Back then, they would laugh at you. Your friends would ridicule you if you're learning makeup, and now you have to pay.
It's a lot.
So
that's a very good advice.
Imagine that you don't have a formal job. What will you do? You can't just go and sit there and look in the air. You need to have a trade. So I advise young people, this is the time you can do a lot of things. Learn a trade. Follow your passion and learn a trade. Last thing, farming.
Wow.
Think about it.
I wasn't expecting that, though.
A lot of people need food now. The population is booming. People need food. Look at the amount of food we import as a country. Assuming all the young ones decide to take up all sorts of farming, agriculture, catfish catfish alone, the one that has been with added value, if you know what I mean.
the modern catfish. Yes, you even pay more.
You can actually set up a small catfish farm in your house.
And to think of the fact that this is the Ajune we never really respected, you know?
The base for the palm nuts.
Ajune of yesterday is now gold.
Have swag now.
So
that's
a
true.
lot of things are happening around us. Now, if you know AI, if you know machine learning, if you're a software engineer, like, the jobs are just all over the place.
Yes.
Those days, IT, when they say somebody's IT, you just look at them, IT, what is IT? But today, after COVID, you can see because of the way things have gone online, now those people are getting a lot. So today, get online, learn about machine learning, learn about AI, learn about data analysis.
Just add something.
Add something. You can't just sit there and look in the sky. God will not bless what you don't have. God will bless what you have. So take the initiative, and then you start making.
So these are some of the business ideas you can get into. And beyond that, I think he gave us some very important tips. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether you have a formal job or not, you still have some time to do something extra. You know, I have friends who work in the corporate sector who would spend 3-4 hours of their, time after work to braid the hair of their colleagues and charge them. You know, you're making something extra for yourself before you realize the end of the month comes and your salary is just sitting down quietly. You just need to earn something for yourself. But for the sake of people who have already started something and are not getting the injection they need, okay? I want to find out from you, Fosti. I'm told you have a lot of answers on this. What are the possible avenues for financing businesses in Ghana? If I want to do my business, I have you as a friend.
Yeah.
You work at UMB. Can I just call you and then you fund me? Should I talk to my parents? Should I dip my hand into the family fund and finance my business? What would be your advice on this?
Okay, so initially you start looking to your own self to see, have I saved enough? Do I have the resources to fund this business? And sometimes, yes, there's not every business that's worth funding. I must point that out. So even before you start your idea, collaborate. I think a lot of us in Ghana do not like sharing our ideas.
I think that's a thing from our basic education. You know?
Yes, we're so secretive about, I don't want to share that, but maybe somebody could have pointed you in the right direction, and that could be the way to get money into your business. So first of all, you expand the ideation theory by sharing with people, get ideas, look around you and see. Once it's a viable business and you see you don't have the money, you can ask, people mostly ask their parents or their family, their friends for the money. But when all else fails, there are venture capitalists who buy equity in your, your idea or your company.
Yeah.
There are angel funding, resources that you can actually do. Sometimes now I've seen people actually do GoFundMe. Yeah, GoFundMe.
And I mean, by opening up to people like you mentioned, you can even have opportunities to crowdfunding ideas. Your friends can come together and create.
You can actually have a business partner. Why do you have to do it all by yourself? You can actually put the idea together with somebody, collaborate, share, make sure you document it. I own 50%. What does the 50% give me? You own 50%. What does that give you? So there's no point in owning 1% of nothing or 100% of nothing when you can own, part of it and then keep it moving. That is why if you look in Africa, okay, Ghana, we sort of don't have companies that live beyond the founder.
Yeah.
The founder dies and then it's
it's
dead,
just
you know.
shattered.
But it could be a collaboration, well documented, structured properly, and it will live on for the next generation and the next generation, like UMB has lived on for 50 years and counting. So when all that fails, you can also come to the bank. UMB, we're structured to also give you financial advice and support. It could be an SME loan for your SME business. We recently did something, I won't take the wind out of their sails, so we did something with an agri-entrepreneur, and I think that those are some of the things. She started on her own, and now everybody has seen the good work, and we're, you know, supporting. So those are some of the avenues that you can look up to.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is for you if you're looking at starting your own business, or if you're in the business already and you want to get some funding for yourself. Very, very important key she's given. We're going to go over it, but in case you just joined us, we're streaming live on ETV Ghana on Facebook, Y1079 FM. We're across the triangle now, Y107.9 FM here in Accra, and then Y1025 FM in Kumasi, Y97.9 FM in Takoradi. If you're locked in anywhere across the three regions and you want to contribute, 0202222073 is the official WhatsApp line. Plus, if you're on Twitter or Facebook, just put in this hashtag UMB IYD 2022, and the questions will come directly to my laptop so we can discuss yours as well. Moving on further on to the conversation, so you've given us tips on how to get funding, right? Let's say I'm running a business, so I'm running my personal life. Earlier you mentioned that people spend on unnecessary things. In your experience, Ken, let me come to you. What are some of the things you deem inevitable when it comes to our day-to-day expenses, things we must hold constant, things we should still spend on and still be able to save? Yeah.
I think on top of my head, the expenses for such inevitable events are food, obviously.
Okay, very important.
Man must eat. I mean, food comes in first. Now that you're satisfied, it makes you think better, take decisions better. And so then you think about basic expense like data or airtime, for instance, to get your social networks. Nowadays, someone would say because of the fuel hikes. I mean, it's important to ask yourself, is it important for me to move from like my physical location to another, or do a call, or do a video call? All of these helps you with savings. It's not about showing yourself physically. So things like airtime, data, I mean, these are basic needs, obviously. We could talk about rent. I mean, Ghana...
Very inevitable.
Yes. Rent is also an aspect. I recently chanced upon an app where all the landlords are in there, registered in there.
Really?
And a tenant can just basically download the app and search with the area they want to be. Is it Nima? Is it East Legon? And it pops up places you want to rent with the budget.
Agents.
You know, so you know, people are coming up with ideas to cut off. But I believe that these are inevitable expenses that on the day-to-day we think about. I mean, obviously the school fees comes in. Even for families where they may have lost both parents, you see that the elder siblings bear this, and they need to take such decisions as school fees for themselves and for their siblings as well. So these are inevitable expenses on top of my head that I think people think about on day to day.
Okay, team, anything we want to add?
Okay, so have you noticed that sometimes you have money, but realize you don't have money?
Yeah, right now I get money, I don't get money. Because everything go. You know, the data, you need to buy like 1 terabyte. That one, if I do the calculation, the fuel like this, I have to fill the tank. And asa basically.
You know what? That is why I need to have a savings account. So whenever you get your money, divide the money into 3 and put 1 in the savings account, non-negotiable.
You don't touch.
You don't touch. So it's gone. Then you spend the rest. When you do that, it will help you. It will help you save. Because you see, whenever there's money in your hands, you want to spend it. Sometimes you just get a windfall. Somebody gives you some money. Before you realize the money is finished, what happened? But when you did not have money, you were managing within your means. That's how it works. So you need to have a savings account. In UMB, we can open a savings account for you. Put the money there, lock the money. Don't touch it. Now, if you need to go back for an emergency, you borrow from your savings and bring it back. You don't take it and say, this is my money. No. You borrow from it and bring it back. That is how to save.
That's a lot of discipline, you know?
Yes.
And to add to what he's saying, in terms of what do you prioritize? Obviously, your Maslow's theory of needs, your physiological ones are very important. Where you sleep, what you eat. Yeah, but even what you eat, sometimes you have to think through, is it worth spending so much money in this restaurant, taking a picture for the gram, or can I just go by the corner to that Hajia who sells good wholesome wache and sort myself out? You know, I think I saw a video on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, one of them, where the guy was saying with 10 CDs, he was showing how he could live on 10 CDs, and yet people were shouting and screaming that I can't afford a meal on 10 CDs. He bought wache, he bought cocoa. Like, he really splurged. So I think that look at how much you're spending on what you even think is priority. Is it really important? Can I find a better or cheaper alternative? And if it's cheap, does it take away from who I am? It doesn't. There are people who are making a living on hacks or doing hacks on TikTok and making so much money because they're teaching you how to live a certain quality of life with the budget or within a budget. So don't do it because somebody else can afford it and they're doing it. If somebody can afford rent in East Legon and you can live comfortably in Nima, what's the shame in that? Save that money and rather invest in a home, you know, for the future. That becomes yours permanently, or you could be a landlord too, rather than just, you know, living above your means and then every day, Charlie, make us so you sort me out. Give me like, you know, that's really not cool.
Wow.
Let me just push this in.
Please push it in.
And if you want to buy a car, you've reached a certain stage in life. You want to buy a car. You don't go for a 3.5 liter engine car.
You don't start from...
No. you are not trying to impress anybody. No.
You want to chill with the big boys.
And you can imagine maybe you are working. Your boss is using a 2.5 liter car. You are using a 1.6. So you should rather buy a smaller car that will help you manage your expenses. Do not look at how big the car is, or no. You are not here to...
You don't even know your boss's salary.
No. You see, so you find people are not earning much, but they are spending so much. So at the end of the day, they are spending more than they earn. Then they are living in debt. So if you start life from a hole, how are you going to come out of that hole?
By the time you get to the tip of the hole, people are gone.
Exactly. Okay, boss.
Very important. Now, how do we then control, our expenditure? You gave some very important tips on how we can look at the value of what we want, look at the better and cheaper options, and then go for that if we can't afford. So we can afford what we want in the near future. But beyond that, can we add anything else? Jeffrey, Ken, Fosti spoke about that already.
Okay. So one of the tips I'll give is have a shopping list.
Okay.
So you just don't go looking around and buying what you want to buy. So sit down and write, I need tomatoes, I need this. Write it all down and get the cost by it. Have that aside. And then avoid impulse buying. If you buy on impulse, it means you are buying without planning. Or it's an unbudgeted expense. That's what we say in banking. When you keep doing that, you'll never be able to save because you haven't planned for it. You see, the marketing is designed to make it look beautiful. If you keep buying everything that is beautiful in the market, you're never going to have
That's
money.
why they arrange it on the...
Yes.
They display the very nice ones.
Very nice ones. Very important. Another tip is keep a personal expense sheet. You don't need... It's nothing complicated. Everything you spend, write it down.
I mean, these days there are even apps that would help you do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It will surprise you that you notice that you are spending about 1,000 or 2,000 in a week on things that are not really necessary. And then start cancelling out the things. You know what we call needs and wants.
And wants, yeah.
There are things you need, like food. Fine. Cancel out those things. You realize how much you are saving. Some people also save the excess on their, let's say, salaries or whatever they get. So if you are being paid, let's say, 2,000.50, they move the 50 and put it down. They move all the excesses and put it in a savings account. That's where you can build your money. One last tip. In the morning, if you are going to work or you are going to school or wherever you are going, you buy breakfast. Sometimes you can buy a cup of Milo. 10 cedis, buy bread and egg, another 10 cedis, and maybe add some sausage and other things.
Yeah.
That's like 30 cedis. You are enjoying 30 cedis or 40 cedis one morning. Multiply it the whole month. How much are you going to spend just on breakfast? Why don't you buy Milo? Keep it in the house. Get a cup. Get hot water. Put it in. Buy bread, cut it, fry your egg and put it in. Put it in your backpack.
30 cedis for the whole week. You might be able to do it.
Yes. So sometimes you just have to cook. You see, when you cook, it helps you to save. The people who are selling are cooking for you. So they've added more because you're not cooking.
Yeah.
So if you want to save, sometimes it's simple. Just cook.
I mean, that's very important, and not to, discourage anybody doing business. Listen, if you're running a breakfast business, big shouts going out to you. I mean, keep at it. There are people who genuinely buy. I mean, there's some too. Let's be very realistic here. There are some who cannot afford the time to even cook. Yeah. There are some who cannot afford the time to even stay and pack whatever it is that we're preparing. Let's say I have to sit in my Trotsky to work. Maybe I might not be able to afford the luxury of getting all that done. But in such situations, if you realize your money is enough for you to be able to afford that 30 cedi breakfast every day, go you. I mean, maybe beyond that, you have some more to save. But we're speaking to the ones who might not have that much. Exactly. Your financial burdens are so big that lifestyle will not be able to afford you, sustain you and even afford you the ability to solve whatever problems that you have anytime soon. And so, why are you going to pressure yourself into doing things that you don't want to? We're being very realistic today. These are things that you can apply to your life. Afford what you can afford. Break it down. If you know that 100 Ghana cedi, you even mentioned 30. Some are spending 100 and 150 Ghana cedi. Listen, big shouts going out to the ones who can afford it. But if you know you cannot afford it, be honest with yourself. Buy a tin of Milo. Buy your bread. Give the bread baker some 20 cedi and tell her, you know what, supply me bread the entire week. If you're a big bread consumer like myself, you can buy maybe one every day and then consume. But whatever it is, cut down your expenses. Plan like he mentioned. Monitor your expenditure. And then ensure that you're not going beyond what is going to break your back. If that happens, you're going to end your life abruptly. One day, before you realize you are nowhere to be found because your money is done and you've borrowed so much. You're in so much debt. Life is not fun for you. Ken, would you want to add some more?
Yes, just want to add one final tip. I mean, there are good days, there are bad days. And looking at the situation we find ourselves in Ghana, I believe that you need to readjust. There are certain habits that you used to do, but now that times are hard, I believe that this is time to readjust. If you used to take that Uber for that distance all this while, maybe you need to now rethink. Can I do that with a bicycle? Can I do that with just a Trotsky instead? Readjusting just fits into the budgeting aspect that I talked about. And I believe that once you do these things, it will help. Lastly, what I want to add is I do it personally. Anytime I am given a bonus, out of the blue, something unexpected comes to me. I put it in an investment. I don't touch it because I take it as, okay, nothing came, and I put it somewhere. Many a times we get all these goodies, all these tips from people which we never planned for, and we utilize it so fast. One tip that I want to give the youth today is that such incomes that we get, which is unexpected, you haven't planned for it. It came because someone realized that you're beautiful.
Yesterday my boss just asked me money. Oh, right, take this money.
Or you smile at that customer. That customer gave you that fat tip. Put it aside in savings. Just make do with your
that one
your
shouldn't
salary.
go to the Friday night chilling.
And as you do that, you'll be amazed what you can make in the future.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Because of time, we might just have to skip a lot of the things. But you mentioned something very, very important. I want us to revisit that, Jeffrey. The fact that you don't have to touch your savings and be very disciplined as to the amount of money you put aside. I'm a very young guy, okay? I have friends who think they're investing in their future because they are saving. And I'm also told savings is a totally different concept from investment. Please, you guys are the experts. Break down the differences between investment, having an investment account, and then having a savings account. Then after that, we'll look at the investment opportunities available for us as young people, and then the savings opportunities available for us, from UMB.
Okay, let me illustrate. Assuming you plant a pawpaw tree, it bears fruits. You don't just eat all the fruit on the pawpaw tree and wait for the next time it bears fruit. You take one of the fruits, the ripe one, and plant the seed. That is investment. Planting the pawpaw is savings. So this is the principle. I call it the GAG principle, gather and grow. So you gather by savings. Once you save, let's assume you're able to save 200 cedis every month. You gather. Now, after it's gathered, you let it grow by putting it in an investment instrument. Okay, so for example, in UMB, you can open a UMB savings account. You gather, you have 5,000. You put that 5,000 in a fixed deposit.
Okay.
That is an investment account at a certain rate. So that fixed deposit, that 5,000, you leave it for 3 months, 6 months or more, it can become 8,000, 9,000. So that's when you have gathered, but now you are letting it grow. So the difference is that savings lets you gather. There's still an investment component in savings, but it's not as much because you can just pick it anytime. But when you put it in a fixed deposit, it means you are telling the financial institution that I'm not touching this money for this period. And because I'm not touching it, I want some value on it. Yes. That's how it works. So I remember this principle, GAG principle, gather and grow. And it will help you.
All right. Ken, would you add something for Steve?
Yes.
On the differences between...
All right. So I just want to add to what Jeffrey just said. The investment aspect also guards your savings against inflation. So that the value that 5,000 gives you today will give you same or more value in the next year. And so that long investment or that investment that you've placed your savings into, the investment will protect you because of the shocks. Now the inflation is haywire, the dollar is all over the place, and so you would want to safeguard that savings that you have into an investment vehicle, and that will do the trick for you. Another thing is also trying to get much more returns. Like Jeffrey said, yes, for savings you get returns, but that may be on the short term because you always have access to it. But when you put it in an investment, it gives you that higher return to be able to cash in on that. So that is basically the differences. But it's the objective you have behind these two that makes it savings or an investment.
Okay. Fosti, before you add to that, you might want to join the investment opportunities available for young people. So we know the difference between investment and savings now. Okay, so Jeffrey will tell me the savings opportunities and products at UMB for young people, and then you tell me the investment opportunities and products for young people as well. I mean, how do we invest after we invest our money?
Okay, so for some, they'll say, okay, I don't have a lot. The savings account is in itself a sort of investment because you're putting your money away and then the bank will add something. So it's not as, the margin is not as great as an investment instrument, but it's still putting your money and getting something on top of it. And then we have the fixed deposits. So you come in, like he said, it's an investment instrument. You come in and then we calculate the rates based on what the Bank of Ghana will allow us to. And then we say that, okay, I'm locking away 10 CDs now. And in maybe a year's time, I should be able to get maybe 5 more CDs. Rather than you putting in an account and then it's not really yielding as much as you. There's also the treasury bills that you can also take advantage of. UMB also has a pedigree of helping people list on certain stock markets. So some people think I'm too young to buy shares. I saw a video on Facebook and the woman said, she mentioned particular brands of phones and everybody was proud to raise their hands and say, yes, I own it. And she asked the question, how much of shares do you own in these companies? And everybody had put their hand down. She was like, you know, you can buy shares in the company for as little as just $1, you know, but we don't think of those things. So just walk into UMB. We have our registrar's department. They will be able to walk you through some of the companies that are listing. They are floating their shares around. It could be 5 CDs, 20 CDs, 30 CDs. It may mean very little to you now.
But next year
But
you can go.
yes, when they declare their dividends and their profits, you'll be smiling all the way to the bank while people are, scratching their chins, asking for pittance, So those are some of the things that we have.
Okay.
And then sometimes insurance is not something that a lot of us think, oh,
That's very important.
yes, insurance for what? Especially when you think of life, when you think of the funeral policy, people feel like, why should I plan for death? Why not? You don't have the luxury of tomorrow. It's a gift that the Creator gives us. So those are some of the many exciting investment opportunities at UMB. But Jeffrey is more versed in that field, so he would speak on
Jeffrey,
that.
so you talk on that and then you
Yes.
give me the savings opportunities as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Faustina. So Faustina said a lot of it. For example, the insurance. If you come to UMB, we can give you a bank assurance product.
Okay.
So it protects you against death, permanent disability, and temporary disability, or personal accidents. Anything can happen to you, right? So you can sign up. So when you sign up, what happens is that every month the premium will be taken from your account, and then you get the cover. You get, of course, you get all the documentation. So anything happens, then the insurance kicks in. And we're in very uncertain times. Anything can happen. So I encourage everybody to get onto a bank assurance product. Okay. Now that is there. Another thing too is for students. I'm talking about the products we have now. We have the UMB Aspire account. I mentioned that UMB is a student's bank. So we're giving you a free Visa Classic card on this account. So you can transact. You can download Speed Up free and you can transact. And that account is special for students. So I'm focusing on students. If you are not a student, you can't open the UMB Aspire account. If you are a worker, then you come in with the UMB salary account and then the UMB savings account. So you open the salary account. Let's say you get, 2,000. And then you open a savings account and tell the bank, I want to save 500 every month. So set a standing order on your salary account every month to just move. Remember I mentioned lock the money.
Yes.
It's not now that you are going to check. The bank will move it.
You sent it already.
Sent it already. So the 1,005, you can enjoy that one. But the 500 is your savings. Now, when you gather that, then you can move into the investment. Okay, the 500 over a period can grow, and then move into the UMB placement account where you can do the fixed deposit, you can do the treasury bills, you can buy stock and everything that Faustina mentioned. That is why I said you gather and you grow.
You gather and you grow. So
Yes.
not in just farming, in all this.
In all this.
Let your money grow for you. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for that. Now, the final thing, I think I always leave the hard decisions to Ken.
I know, right?
Ken, what would you advise? Okay. Do we choose investment or savings when the opportunity hits us? I have money now. What would you advise? Do I just ignore savings and go into investments after all they've mentioned, or I just choose savings? Do I plant the pawpaw or plant the seed? Or chop some and plant the seed?
Thank you. I think it goes together. They go hand in hand. I believe the first step is to start with savings, and then once that starts, then you put some aside out of the savings for investment. Technology-wise, I just want to add to what Jeffrey said. Our UMB Speed Up is a one-stop platform where wherever you are now, you can just go onto the stores and download the UMB Speed Up.
Okay.
And without you having stepping into our bank branches, can sign up onto our UMB wallet. By signing up, you can be able to enjoy a savings platform. Imagine where you save 1 CD a day and get to see the interest that accrues for you every day. The UMB Speed Up gives you that.
Gives you the opportunity
And
to do that.
we don't mind if you don't have the full KYC. All we need is your Ghana card to sign up. All you need to do is just download and then register. And as you put funds onto your UMB wallet, you get to see all the interest bearing onto it at the end of the month, it is credited onto your wallet. And so I believe that the savings and investments, you can't decouple them. It goes together. And the first step is to start saving. And once it grows to a point, you push it aside into an investment vehicle.
Wow,
And,
thank you so much.
Yes. Let me just add
yeah,
this.
sure.
But so if you have some big money sitting there, you bring it to UMB. We invest it for you.
Do business for you.
But if it is small, you can grow it. But if it's big, you've been keeping it, come. Even if it's from another bank, bring it.
Yes.
We'll sort you out.
Actually, go and take it from another one.
Yes.
And we are just a phone call away.
Yes.
Our social media handles, you can just reach out to us.
And
If you want we want us to come to you, we can.
Yes, we'll come. I mean, just give us a call, we'll come. They will drive and come. They have beautiful cars, they will come. And I mean, let me just add this. I really love what UMB Bank is doing. I mean, UMB is doing. International Youth Day is very, very important to brand YFM. Our station is for the young and young at heart, and it goes in line with your, mission as well. And so, thank you so much for thinking about us, and investing time and then money into ensuring that we learn bits and bits on how to be financially sound as young people. I mean, at this space, I believe soon young people of our land will be fine financially, so that we can make the wisest decisions and, clear crime from our lives, and then, move towards the better Ghana that we've all dreamt of. And also, I like your branding. I like your buildings. The one at East Legon, I just drive by all the time. I mean, when you guys are ready to let it go and get another one, call me. I'll come and pick the house. Thank you so much. Fosti is... Faustina Ya appear as Corporate Affairs at UMB. Jeffrey Odami Yebo is Head of Personal Banking at UMB. And Kennedy Menako is Team Lead UMB Transaction. Before we go, final words, any final comments you'd like to add, advice on top of all that we've shared?
Yes, I'll say that don't give small money chance. That's one thing my mom always tells me. You may think it's one CD, it's of no value to you. You, like my friends
I
and
think
my
it's really misinterpreted,
Yes, don't give that small money chance. Lock it away. You'd never know when it will come in handy. And then for the parents, encourage the children to save. When they put the money in the susu box, don't emotionally blackmail them that, that's what I use for your Christmas shoe. Help the children to make financial decisions for themselves, so that they can learn the consequences of their actions. That way, when you're teaching them, they don't grow to become adults who borrow without paying. And if you have to borrow, yes, even the American economy goes borrowing. So borrowing is
Borrow
not
mindfully.
yes, borrow and borrow on terms that you're sure that you can repay, so that people don't start chasing you and then you're telling somebody, tell them I'm not around. So, and then save and invest. It's never too late to save and invest. Those are some of the things, and I wish everybody a happy International Youth Day, and thank you YFM for having us.
Welcome. Jeffrey.
Okay, do not take shortcuts. You can stab yourself with a lot of pain if you take shortcuts, our dear youth. So from UMB Bank, we want to say that own your financial security. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Never.
Neither were the pyramids of Egypt. It starts with baby steps. Now, the baby steps will become great steps if you just focus. So do not think about managing your finances tomorrow. Think of it today.
Now.
Every day counts. Every day you make money.
That's true.
Yes. So if you wait, you are losing money. So every day counts. So walk into any of our branches, open your UMB Aspire account, savings account, salary accounts, sign on to Speed Up, and watch your money grow.
Watch your money grow, and make sure you grow and gather, like you mentioned.
Exactly.
Gather and grow, actually. Sorry. Kenny.
Yes. So finally, I just want to leave this short message for the youth of Ghana and across the world, that raise your head high and leave all the fear of mind behind. Never step back when the storms come. Instead, face it with full courage. And with that, if you are financially empowered, this will stay true to you. I just want to wish, on behalf of the entire UMB management, International Youth Day to the youth of Ghana and beyond. And we wish to say that this has been a great opportunity interacting with the youth, and it's just a call away. Anytime, any day. We will sort you out.
All right. Thank you so much to you all for spending time with us today. I know you guys are very, very busy. We appreciate your time, and we are very grateful for this. I know parts and parts of this conversation will be cut and replayed in the course of the month, so that we can stay informed about the right decisions to make as young people. Guys, it's been a wonderful morning with the team from UMB. We had a beautiful conversation on intergenerational solidarity. Of course, it's in line with the team for International Youth Day 2022, and we basically focused on financial literacy. We had conversations on the basics around financial literacy. We gave tips on good financial practices, things that will help you. We spoke about the bad ones. We differentiated between investment and savings, give savings and investment opportunities available for young people generally, and then of course products from UMB designed for you. If you need to take up your life now with regards to your finances, take these things serious, read further, learn, equip yourself with the right tools to be able to survive in this financially growing economy we find ourselves in. Do the right things for yourself and your future, and you forever live right. Okay, make sure you contact UMB. They said their doors are open. Anytime you want to walk in, just walk in. Let's do business together. 59 after 10. This is Y 107.9 FM.
Every weekend on the Y Campus Express, we take you on a tour of Ghana, discover the beautiful continent of Africa, and do a 360 around the world.